So you can say behind me, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
No, sorry, not Narayanam Namaskrityam. So chapter 3 has 43 verses. I am going to be a bit objective with you guys now. This chapter is basically divided into 4 subheadings. Okay, so first subheading, we will discuss 1 to 9. So we have to finish 1 to 9 every week or so. So I'm going to present, as I promised in the beginning of every new chapter, a little bit of a slideshow. That's what actually I was doing. You don't have to look at the whole chapter, but a little bit. So let's pay our obeisances to Shri Shri Radha Govinda. They're so beautiful. They're really beautiful. You know, when you go to Mangalore and you enter the temple, they do look, you do get very mesmerized by the beauty of the deities. This dress, I ordered it in Vrindavan in 2009 when I was going to India 11 years ago. And I see that they have taken maximum pictures in this dress, like all this like backdrop and everything. And I think Radha Govinda enjoyed it a lot. So I'm very happy that they accepted my service. So this is what we did in second chapter. First chapter, second chapter, very quick review, very quick. First chapter, why am I showing all this? Why don't one of you tell me what reasons Arjuna gave to Krishna that he's not going to fight? Yes, please raise your hand very quickly. First chapter, what reasons Arjuna gave to Krishna that he's not going to fight? Am I audible?
Yes,
Am I
Mataji.
audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Mataji.
Okay. So what are the reasons that Arjuna gave? One,
First
two,
chapter
three,
is
four.
compassion, Mataji.
Okay, good. Very nice.
So
And
in second chapter, then he comes to this one also. What is this? Sins? It accumulates sins.
very
In
nice.
this. Then the ancestors. It will be the ancestral things will be
Destruction
destroyed.
of the family dynasty. Okay,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
nice.
family dynasty will be destroyed. And
And
oh my God, quickly.
yes, help your classmate. Yes.
Enjoyment.
No enjoyment.
There is no enjoyment or achievements in
And
that.
very nice. Then
Last.
Indecision.
very nice. Indecision. Okay, so compassion. Krishna gave what antidote? How did Krishna explain here? One of you, please raise your hand. How did Krishna
You need to
address
show,
what?
you need to show compassion to the soul, not to the body.
Very nice. So what is that called as?
Jnana Yoga.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Now the next one is no enjoyment. So yes, someone else, please raise your hand or unmute yourself and speak. No enjoyment. He says no enjoyment. Then Krishna gives what answer? No,
Doing
not
work
the
in
same
Krishna.
person. Mataji, no, wait. Everyone has to participate. Then I'll come to you. Yes, otherwise I'm going to call upon the people. Sandhya Rani Mataji, yes, Mataji. Would you like to tell me why? What was the other reason that? How did Krishna address Arjuna's second reason for not fighting? Sandhya Rani Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. This
Hare
is with
Krishna.
regard to no enjoyment Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. The Krishna says the answer for the no enjoyment, the query which is raised by Arjuna is, he says that if you win in this fight, you will enjoy the kingdom. There is no loss. Okay, and if you die in this fight, also still you will go to the heavenly palace. So in both the sides, you have on a favorable aspects.
Very
So this
nice.
is what.
Very perfect. So what is it called as? Karma Kand. So he used Karma Kand. Very nice, Mataji. I'm so proud of you. So third reason Arjuna gave, that no sinful. It's sinful, Krishna. It's sinful to kill elders. So how did Krishna address that? Yes, Shiva Prabhu. Or would you like to tell me how did Krishna address that sinful? Arjuna said it's sinful to fight or even offer verbal fight to elders. Shiva Prabhu, I'm asking you to unmute, please. Or if he is not available, then Nirmala Prasanna Mataji. Yes, Mataji. May I please request you? I am audible, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes. Very nice. Yes, Mataji.
What is the point? What is the point you're asking?
I am asking that third reason Arjuna gave to Krishna, that he's not going to fight the war because it is sinful. It is sinful to even give verbal argument to an elder. So how did Krishna address that in the second chapter? Help your classmate, everyone.
Individual soul transmigrates to another body.
That's Jnana Yoga. That's compassion. Sinful, like he's saying it's sinful to kill an elder, to kill my grandfather. So how is Krishna addressing that point? Yes. Jyoti Lakshmi Mataji, yes.
It's a Kshatriya Dharma to do your duty. Kshatriya Dharma to do your duty. In the line of Dharma, it's not sinful to do your duty in the line of Dharma.
Okay, okay, very nice. Something more? Add something more, anyone? Okay,
It is
Mataji.
a soul. It is a soul, Mataji. You are not killing the body. It's a soul. So
That's
soul
compassion.
Yeah.
That's compassion. Now this is the argument number 3 is sinful. Yes, Gayatri Mataji.
Yeah, Krishna says that they have already been killed by me, and they are just now it is you become the nimitta matram to kill them, and even though they are killed in the fight, they will go to the heavenly planets.
Yes, so you're bringing 11th chapter in 2nd chapter, which is nice. Which is, yes, that's correct. But why is
Whatever.
Krishna?
Yeah, because whatever work we do, we need to that is you need to offer it to Krishna. So obviously the sin will not be coming into the Arjuna's account. That was the guidance actually given to him.
Yes, very good. Well, that is the answer. That Vyavasatmika Buddhir Ekehe Kurunandana, 41st verse in 2nd chapter. That Vyavasatmika Buddhir, that unified intelligence to serve Krishna, Ekehe Kurunandana. Wait. That was for indecision. So sinful is Swalpamapiyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. There is no sin. When somebody is acting on behalf of Krishna, actually there is no sin. One does not incur any sinful reaction in devotional service. And the example given is Lord Hanuman setting fire on Lanka. It is sinful, right? One of the 6 intruders is setting fire, but Lord Hanuman is celebrated. Why? Because he's doing it as devotional service to Lord Rama. Okay, or Vibhishan revealing the secrets of Ravana to Lord Rama is sinful, but he's celebrated because he's doing it as a devotional service to Lord Rama. So similarly, if Arjuna follows Krishna's order, then it is not sinful because it is Krishna's order. Sin or pious or whatever is, Krishna is adhokshaja, beyond all that. Okay, so number 4, he gives argument for destruction of the family dynasty. That we are going to learn in this chapter. So difficult. Yes, Dharneshri Mataji, go ahead.
Is it? I think it will be related to Varna Shankara, all those things, no, Mataji.
Yes, he says Varna Shankara is going to come out. The women are going to become polluted. So that will be discussed in this chapter, the answer. Yes, Shailesh Kumar Prabhu.
Yeah, there are 6. Actually, it was told that there are 6 types of aggressors who can be killed and they will not be considered as sin. A poison giver, the one who sets fire to the house, one who attacks with the deadly weapons, one who plunders riches, one who occupies another's land, and one who kidnaps a wife.
Very nice. That's very nice. So Lord Hanuman set a fire on Ravan's Lanka, right? The whole kingdom.
Yep.
So it could be sinful, but it is not, because he's doing it as service to Krishna or Lord Rama. So no sin, right? No sin is incurred in devotional service. Then the next verse is indecision. I am undecided. I know I am a Kshatriya. I am supposed to fight, but I am undecided. What did Krishna say to that? Yes. Sita Mataji, you will be the last person to answer, please. Surekha Mataji. Yes, Surekha Mataji. Please unmute. Or Rupa Mataji. Yes, Surekha Mataji. Please.
What is the question, Mataji?
Krishna, last reason Arjuna is giving to Krishna, indecision. He says, I am a Kshatriya. I know it is my duty to fight. Kshatriya dharma is to fight, but now I am bewildered. I don't know what to do. I am undecided. So how did Krishna addresses that? Yes, Surekha Mataji.
I think he says that it's your dharma that you have to, because I wish that this should happen.
Okay. Thank you.
It's my wish that the war happens or whatever.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, Rupa Mataji.
Your intelligence is multi-branched and you're not focused right now. Once you focus yourself on your goal and, surrender your actions and your work unto me, you'll be fine. There won't be any indecision. That's what he says.
Very nice. So, Vyavasatmika buddhir ekehe kurunandana bahushakha yananantascha. So, Vyavasatmika buddhi, you're undecided because your intelligence is bahushakha, is many branched, multi-branched. You're not focused. So you're undecided because you want to do this also, that also, that also. Become Vyavasatmika buddhi. Just surrender to me. Serve me. That's what he says there. Okay, so this is the summary. I hope you are all reading on your own. You see, we read together, we hear together, we discuss together, but we still need to associate with Srila Prabhupada's books individually. Okay, we still need to do that. I got an email from my Guru Maharaj today. He said, I hope you're reading Srimad Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita every day. He knows I'm preaching, but he still wants me to read on my own. So compassion, jnana, we are not the body. No enjoyment, karma kand, heaven or heaven or earthly kingdom, you will enjoy. Fear of sinful activities, vyavasat, buddhi yoga or intelligence, devotional activity, no sin. Indecision, he says, serve the Lord with firm determination. And then destruction of the dynasty, we will study in this chapter, 18 to 26. Be a role model to prevent Varna Shankara. Plus, Krishna described the symptoms, the speech, the talk, and the walk of the symptoms, the speech, the sitting, and the walk of a person who is in transcendental consciousness. This is what we're going to do in this chapter. Renunciation or action, Arjuna is going to get confused now. And I will elaborate why Arjuna is getting confused. Okay, so he's asking Arjuna, Krishna, Tadekam Vada, tell me one thing. You're telling me too many things. Jnana Yoga also, Buddhi Yoga also, Karma Yoga also, Sankhya Yoga also. What do I do? So Krishna is going to build the chapter. Nishkam Karma Yoga is better than Jnana Yoga. And then Karma Kand to Karma Yoga and lead by example and greatest enemy, which we'll discuss last. Again, these are the major themes in Bhagavad Gita, 150 verses which explain these are the themes. In chapter 3, we'll discuss about mind and sense control towards the end of the chapter, when Krishna will discuss about the lust, which covers the intelligence. Then the yoga processes is discussed in verse number 9, and renunciation of work versus work in devotion is also discussed. Then demigod worship is little bit glimpse is given when he's going to talk about the cycle of sacrifice, that how one has to work, and when one works with prescribed duty, there is grain. So we'll see. Then who is a devotee and who is a non-devotee? 13, 26 to 29 verses. And then the material modes of nature. Ahankara vimudhatma karta ahamiti manyate, verse number 27. Varnashrama dharma is discussed a lot in Bhagavad Gita. In verse 5 to 16, then 22 to 26, 29, 33, 35. and bhakti, a glimpse is given in verse number 9. So verse 9 has come many times. Verse 9 is for bhakti. Verse 9 is for renunciation of work versus work in devotion, and also yoga processes. The only one verse that is recommended to be memorized in this chapter is 27. So I hope 100% of the class is going to memorize 27th verse. Please. Okay, so Karma Yoga chapter. In chapter 2, many different paths were explained, such as Sankhya Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, control of the senses by intelligence, and work without fruitive desire. Right? Sankhya Yoga means analytical study, means we analyze the soul, constitutional position, what is the size of the soul, what are the chemical properties, what are the physical properties. Those are analysis. That's Sankhya Yoga. Buddhi Yoga is bhakti, the working for Krishna. Control of senses by intelligence, we discussed 8-step fall down, right? Verse number 62 and 63 or 63 or 64. What is the verse where we discussed Dhyate Vishyani Punsaha Sangaste Sanjayate. So we discussed control of senses by intelligence and work without fruitive desire. Work without fruitive desire is work for Krishna. Krishna told Arjuna to keep all abominable activities far distant by Buddhi Yoga. He uses the word Buddhi Yoga, which is what causes a confusion in Arjuna. Taking the meaning of Buddhi Yoga as intelligence, Krishna's order would mean that Arjuna, by using his intelligence, should avoid all abominable activities and not fight. So he is taking the word meaning of of Buddhi as intelligence. He's not taking it as a bhakti. Buddhi Yoga is a synonym word for bhakti, bhakti yoga. But he's thinking intelligence is higher than working, so I don't have to work. So that's how Arjuna is getting confused. That is why Krishna speaks about karma yoga now. Yet Arjuna thinks Krishna is still urging me to fight. Arjuna thinks that karma and jnana are not compatible. Actually, karma and jnana are two stages to the path of transcendental consciousness. So any confusion? He's thinking knowledge about Krishna and working for Krishna are two different things. But the reality is, when one gets knowledge about Krishna, one wants to work for Krishna. Are you confused or are you understanding?
Not confused. Understanding perfect.
Okay. Renunciation. So we are going to discuss this 1 to 9 today, hopefully. Renunciation of work or work in devotion, 1 to 9. In his confused state, Arjuna asks Krishna to clarify his previous instructions. Krishna explains how karma yoga, devotional service, is superior to renunciation of work. So work in devotional service is superior to renunciation of work. And he also recommends sacrifice to Vishnu, which frees one from bondage of work. So the chapter will, when we look at a slide like this, what comes to your mind? Please raise your hand and please share. What comes to your mind when you look at a slide like this? The other way, that way, this way?
There are multiple ways to reach a destination.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you see,
we are confused where to reach the goal.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. Is it hard to raise hand? Because it's very hard for me to conduct a class on virtually.
I'm not able to raise my hand, ma'am.
Co-host cannot, Mataji.
Okay, so co-host can unmute, but everyone else should be able to raise hand, whoever is not on co-host status. Yes, Radhika, what do you want to say?
Yeah, I think someone is confused because you don't know whether you should go this way or that way or the other way. So there's no clarity on that.
Very nice. Yes, yes, Jyoti Lakshmi Mataji.
Choices, Mataji. Different choices. Options.
Okay.
Choices or options.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we will start reading. I modified my slide. So this is Tadekam Vada. Okay, so Krishna is going to, Arjuna is going to ask Krishna, tell me one instruction. You gave me an instruction about Jnana Yoga, that I'm not the body, I'm the soul. And soul has no need for fighting, for acquiring a kingdom or for ruling somebody. Right? And at the same time, you told me to work in devotional service, because by that work, there is no sinful activity. So what am I supposed to do? Sit down and cultivate Jnana Yoga or go out there and work? So I'm confused. Okay, so this is how we're going to start the chapter today. So let's dig in. Who would like to read the first? Arjuna Uvacha.
Shashi Prasad.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Arjuna Vacha Jayesi Set Karmana Sate Matha Buddhi Janardana Tatkim Karmani Goremam Niyojasti Kesava. Translation. Arjuna said, O Janardana, O Keshava, why do you urge me to engage in this ghastly warfare if you think that intelligence is better than fruity work? Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, has very elaborately described the constitution of the soul in the previous chapter with a view to deliver his intimate friend Arjuna from the ocean of material grief. And the path of realization has been recommended, Buddhi Yoga or Krishna consciousness. Sometimes Krishna consciousness is misunderstood to be inertia, and one with such a misunderstanding often withdraws to a secluded place to become fully Krishna conscious by chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna. But without being trained in the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, it is not advisable to chant the holy name of Krishna in a secluded place where one may acquire only cheap adoration from the innocent public. Arjuna also thought of Krishna consciousness or Buddhi Yoga or intelligence in spiritual advancement of knowledge as something like retirement from active life and the practice of penance and austerity at a secluded place. In other words, he wanted to skillfully avoid the fighting by using Krishna consciousness as an excuse. But as a sincere student, he placed the matter before his master and questioned Krishna as to his best course of action. In answer, Lord Krishna elaborately explained Karma Yoga or work in Krishna consciousness in this third chapter. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Thank you. So, thank you, Prabhu. So now he's asking, oh Janardana, oh Keshava. So the words, the names that he's using for Krishna are also very relevant. Janardana. What is the meaning of the word Janardana? Yes, whoever did the homework in first chapter, the different names of Krishna. Shailesh Kumar Prabhu. You made such a nice chart. What is the meaning of the word Janardana, Prabhu?
The one who is worshipped by the general people.
I think you want to go back and look at your chart. Anyone else?
One who is actually superior to everybody, Mataji. Like, Jana means people, all the entities, and he is supreme to everybody. That's what usually it means, I think.
Okay. Anybody else? So detailed study means detailed study.
One who conquered the world.
Yes. One who understands everyone.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. So the word Janardana means maintainer of all living entities. Okay, we have to, the literal meaning of the word is maintainer of all living entities is Janardana. And Keshava means, what is Keshava? Means, what does the name Keshava mean? Yes, raise your hand.
He killed the demon Keshi, Mataji.
Yes. Actually, Keshava has two meanings. Yes, the word one is that he killed the demon Keshi. And also Keshava also means the one who has curly black hair. Krishna has curly black hair. So he is addressing Krishna as Janardana and Keshava. Why? Because Janardana means one who maintains all the living entities. And now he says, you are the maintainer of everyone. You also killed, but you killed a demon, Keshi. But why are you urging me to engage in this ghastly welfare? Please maintain me. Please don't engage me in this sinful activity. If you think that intelligence is better than fruity work, is this clear? Where is this coming from? Intelligence is greater than fruity work? Because Krishna used this word Buddhi Yoga in second chapter. And he took the meaning of word Buddhi Yoga as intelligence. Okay, so Krishna consciousness is sometimes misunderstood to be an inertia. Everybody thinks, or most people, not everybody, most people think Krishna consciousness means no activity. Armchair philosophy. That's what, right? It goes on. No work. Krishna consciousness means one should just sit in a forest and meditate. But that's the Prabhupada is clearly writing that one is forbidden to advise, forbidden to chant the holy name of Krishna in a secluded place. Don't do this caricature show. Don't do it. Okay, because it is just going to attract a cheap adoration from public, but it is not going to lead one to Krishna.
Mataji, you are muted.
I know, because I'm scolding my son. Sorry. So the point taken is that Buddhi Yoga meaning, what is the meaning of Buddhi Yoga that Arjuna is taking? And the other misconception Prabhupada is bringing is Krishna consciousness is not inertia. And the other thing is, one should not make a show business of one's spiritual life. There's no need. There's no need, because Krishna will say in 5th chapter, Mithyachara sa uchyate, that thing is called as Mithyachara. Why do children grow up? So in other words, he wanted to skillfully avoid fighting by using Krishna consciousness as an excuse. So Namanisha Prabhu explains it in this way, that we also procrastinate work. The thing that I don't want to do, we procrastinate. That tomorrow I will do, tomorrow I will do, tomorrow I will do. So Arjuna really doesn't want to fight. It's not that he does not know that Krishna wants him to fight. But he does not want to fight, so he's procrastinating like a child. And he's also a little bit confused, so he's placing the matter in front of the spiritual master. That is a relationship between a spiritual master and a disciple. Spiritual master and disciple have a relationship. There's a relationship of question and answer, of service. It's not that, okay, I took initiation from this parampara, now I have nothing to do with them. Now I have a label on my forehead that I am initiated. No. What are you doing about it? What are you doing about it is more important. Yesterday, my Guru Maharaj was giving the class. I was listening to him. You see, one may be initiated. He was saying that one may have a different name. But if the activities are not in alignment with the instruction of the spiritual master, then they're really not initiated in the essence. They're really not. So action is very, very important. That what am I doing about my initiation? Am I just taking it as a fashion that, okay, I have a handbag, I have this latest handbag with me, so I have a guru? Or am I really surrendering and changing the course of my life? What am I doing? So Krishna consciousness is for sincere people. Krishna consciousness is for everyone, but one who is sincere will be able to benefit the most. Okay. So all clear? Why is Arjuna asking this question? Is it clear to each one of you? Please speak.
It's very clear, Mataji. Actually, this question came up in one of your classes, like yesterday, I think. Somebody was asked, not yesterday, day before. They were saying they have a guru who is not following. She was not very clear, but she was saying the same thing. What they are preaching is not what they are, they don't follow what they preach, basically. So what should I do? Should I continue with the same person, or should I leave that person? Because I don't see, there is no progress happening, and something like that. So this question came up, and probably if that person is there in today's class, you could address her and maybe give her more information.
You see, this is a one-sided information. We can teach principle. That I don't know what the reality is. I don't know. Is somebody giving their own perception of the situation, or is it what the real situation is? Sometimes they're two different things. Okay, so the principle is, and it is universally true for each and every human being, and demigods and demons and everyone across the universe. The principle is that, am I becoming more and more dear to Krishna? And how do I know that? By pleasing my spiritual master. So, yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado, yasya prasadat nagati kutopi. Prabhupada gives example that, let's say that some employee is getting promotion. Now, that particular employee in a company may never have met the CEO of the company, right? So how is this, how do you know that this CEO of the company is happy with this employee's work? They have never met. How do you know? that the CEO of the company is happy with the work of this employee, the manager will give report.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, Mataji.
So the
It
manager will give, so the manager is the bridge between the employee and the CEO, and that manager is spiritual master. So how do I know that Krishna is happy with my service or not? Spiritual master needs to be satisfied. And spiritual master will tell you, I am happy, go on doing. And they will never give instructions which are contrary to Krishna consciousness. Never. A bona fide spiritual master has nothing else to do with this world other than to enhance your Krishna consciousness. There's nothing else. Prabhupada had nothing else to do with anybody in the entire creation other than to give them Krishna consciousness. So that is being a spiritual master is a heavy duty thing. It's not that, okay, I had a dream, or okay, I am born in the family of somebody that was a spiritual master, so I am also spiritual master by birth. It's not a birthright. It's a quality. Okay, so the principle is your spiritual master training you in Krishna Tattva, and are you feeling yourself to be progressing in Krishna consciousness? Are you understanding the purpose of the scriptures? When I started Krishna consciousness 19 years ago, I understood nothing. This thing was nothing. I remember 1 hour I used to take for reading one verse. It was very difficult. What is written? What is it? Okay, so I thought I'll never understand, but somehow, because everybody was reading that in the temple, association was so powerful. Everybody was talking, everybody was living, I was amazed, how are these people doing it? So slowly, by association, they gave me the mercy. I'm not saying I'm understanding it 100%. I am not. I don't know if I will ever. But I'm much better than what I was 19 years ago, that I can tell you. So similarly, you have to see where are you and where did you start from. Okay, the principle is clear. Is it clear? The principle is clear. Okay, who wants to read the second verse? Nobody wants to read the second verse?
Mataji, can I read, Mataji?
Yes,
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna.
please go ahead.
Mataji, can I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, go ahead, please.
Hare Krishna. Vyame shreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me tadekam vada nischitya yena shreyaham mapnuyam. Hare Krishna. My intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instruments. Therefore, please tell me decisively what is most beneficial for me. Purport. In the previous chapter, as a prelude to the Bhagavad Gita, many different paths were explained, such as Sankhya Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, control of the senses by intelligence, work without fruitive desire, and the position of the neophyte. This was all presented unsystematically. A more organized outline of the path would be necessary for action and understanding. Arjuna therefore wanted to clear up these apparently confusing matters so that any common man could accept them without misinterpretation. Although Krishna has no intention of confusing Arjuna by any jugglery of words, Arjuna could not follow the process of Krishna consciousness, either by inertia or active service. In other words, by his questions, he is clearing the path of Krishna consciousness for all students who seriously want to understand the mystery of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Very nice. So this is a very revolutionary term that he's asking, Tadekam Vada Nishchitya. Tadekam Vada Nishchitya means that tell me one thing decisively, because I'm very confused with so many instructions you are giving me. So you gave me Sankhya Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, control of the senses by intelligence, work without fruitive desire, and the position of a neophyte. So he's just asking Krishna, because he's spiritual master, go change your clothes, then I'll give you food. That what is it that's best for me? Okay, so by his questions, he's clearing the path of Krishna consciousness for all students who seriously want to understand the mystery of Bhagavad Gita. think we can go ahead. Does anyone has any doubt here? First two verses, other questions by Arjuna to Krishna. At least tell me yes or no.
No doubts, Mata.
It's very simple, Mother. It's very simple.
Okay. Thank you very much. Nirmala Mataji, please go ahead. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. Nirmala Prasanna Mataji, please go ahead.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Lokesmin Vivida Nishta Pura Prokta Mayanakaha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. The blessed Lord said, O sinless Arjuna, I have already explained that there are two classes of men who realize the self. Some are inclined to understand him by empirical, philosophical speculation, and others are inclined to know him by devotional work. But in the second chapter, verse 39, the Lord explained two kinds of procedures, namely Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga. In this verse, the Lord explains the same more clearly. Sankhya Yoga, or the analytical study of the nature of spirit and matter, is the subject matter for persons who are inclined to speculate and understand things by experimental knowledge and philosophy. The other class of men work in Krishna consciousness, as it is explained in the 61st verse of the second chapter. The Lord has explained also in the 39th verse that by working by the principles of Buddhi Yoga or Krishna consciousness, one can be relieved from the bonds of action, and furthermore, there is no flaw in the process. The same principle is more clearly explained in the 61st verse, that this Buddhi Yoga is to depend entirely on the Supreme, or more specifically on Krishna, and in this way all the senses can be brought under control very easily. Therefore, both the yogas are interdependent as religion and philosophy. Religion without philosophy is sentiment or sometimes fanaticism, while philosophy without religion is mental speculation. The ultimate goal is Krishna, because the philosophers who are sincerely searching after the absolute truth come in the end to Krishna consciousness. This is also stated in the Bhagavad Gita. The whole process is to understand the real position of the self in relation to the super self. The indirect process is philosophical speculation, by which gradually one may come to the point of Krishna consciousness, and the other process is directly connecting with everything in Krishna consciousness. Of these two, the path of Krishna consciousness is better because it does not depend on purifying the senses by a philosophical process. Krishna consciousness is itself the purifying process, and by the direct method of devotional service, it is simultaneously easy and sublime.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. You chant so nicely. So the blessed Lord said, O sinless Arjuna, I have already explained that there are two classes of men who realize the self. Some are inclined to understand him by empirical philosophical speculation. Remember, we discussed this in second verse of second chapter also. Bhagwan, like where Prabhupada writes in the purport, Brahman, Paramatman feature and Bhagwan feature of Krishna. So Brahman feature and Paramatma feature of Krishna, more specifically the Brahman feature or the impersonal effulgence, is realized by those who are empirical philosophers or speculators. They're not working for Krishna. They're trying to accumulate knowledge and philosophizing that maybe God is energy, because maybe because maybe God has no body, because having a body means misery. So how can God be miserable? Therefore, I conclude that God has no body. This is philosophical speculation, what I just said. Okay, and there are other class of devotees who want to realize Krishna by working for Krishna. So that and there are these kind of people also out there, right, that who learn by doing. That I don't learn by sitting and reading the books or listening to lectures. I actually learn in the field. You must have heard people like that. So in devotional service, that is a very good quality. It's a very good quality because Krishna can be revealed by one's work for Krishna. But that work has to be taught to us by the parampara. Okay, so I'm gonna just read this 39th verse again. So over here it says that thus far I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Pritha, when you act in such a knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of work. So this was actually work without fruitive result, bondage of work, sinful reaction. I think this was one of the reasons to Arjuna's argument that it's sinful to kill one's family. So he was saying that how you can work without fruitive results. So basically work for Krishna, which is Karma Yoga. And in 61st verse, oh, this is a very nice verse. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control and fixes his consciousness upon me is known as a man of steady intelligence. So this was one of the explanations of Siddhartha Muni. So Lord explains two procedures, Sankhya Karlo ya Karma Yoga Karlo. And Karma Yoga is same as Buddhi Yoga. Is it clear? What is the meaning of the word Sankhya now if I ask all of you? What is the meaning of the word? Go ahead.
It's the analytical way of analyzing the body and the soul, Mataji.
Very nice. What is the meaning of the word Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga?
Buddhi Yoga is a Bhakti Yoga actually. It's people doing in the devotional service. Karma Yoga is doing the work with, that is two types of things are the Nishkama and Sukama Karma Yoga. Expecting with the fruitive actions is a Sukama Karma Yoga, and without expecting the fruitive actions is Nishkama Karma Yoga.
Yes, but in this particular verse, they are used as synonyms. Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga are used as the same thing in this particular verse. Okay. So in this verse, Sankhya Yoga is analytical study of the nature of spirit and matter and subject matter of persons who are inclined to speculate and understand things by experimental knowledge and philosophy. That is a Neti principle. Neti, neti, neti. Not this, not this, not this. Okay, who are you? I am not. Then the answer from such a person will be, I am not a man or a woman. I am not restricted to this particular family. My identity is not defined by this society. I am not part of this country. I am not. So the Sankhya Yoga actually is a Neti principle. I am not. But what we are is very, very difficult to understand. The life full of not, I am not becomes very, very hard. That is why these Sankhya yogis, unless and until they come to the platform of Bhakti Yoga, are very, very standing on a very shaky platform because they don't know what they are. Like Srila Prabhupada gives an example, moon experiment. Okay? Now moon, they're spending millions and billions of dollars to go to moon. So when they go to moon, by the way, according to Prabhupada, they never went to moon. But let's say for this discussion's sake that they went. Then what? Then they came back with some rocks and they said not inhabitable. Well, to go so far away to collect some rocks and then come with the thing that not inhabitable, but we get information from the Shastras, from Bhagavatam, from everywhere that there are living entities on the moon. So this analysis by not working for Krishna or not culminating in Krishna consciousness is a very, very hard life. It's dukkham. So let's not do that. Okay, the other class of men is 61st verse of 2nd chapter, where he says that one who is working for Krishna, steady in intelligence, work for him. Whenever we find something hard to do in our life, we can take a pause and think, how can I serve Krishna with this work? And if I can find a way to serve Krishna with my work, then I should do it with more vigor, with more determination. Okay, and Krishna will give. Who was telling me? Dhruva Maharaj. Okay, Dhruva Maharaj was a 5-year-old boy. He was very insulted by his stepmother. He felt very, very insulted. He was going to the forest to meditate and find Krishna or Vishnu, so that he can get the kingdom bigger than his great-grandfather Brahma. And so he can, fight back the comment of his stepmother. So he was very insulted. So Narad Muni tried to test his determination. Narad Muni has a talk with Dhruva Maharaj in 4th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, where he's telling that you're a small child. Small children don't take insult from other elders. You know, sometimes when elders say something, you just absorb it. But Dhruva Maharaj is like, no, you don't understand. These instructions are very nice. Oh, Maharishi, this is very nice, but it's not going to work with me. It is not going to work. So like that, Narad Muni says 2, 3, he gives this logic to Dhruva Maharaj that don't, you are, Krishna will maintain you. Whatever you need, the food to eat, the effect, when you become Krishna conscious by staying with your mother, she loves you, your mother loves you. Go back to her and then become Krishna conscious, cultivate over there, and then she will teach you, and then you'll be fine. And Dhruva Maharaj was like, this is all nice, but please give these instructions to someone where it will work. He was very clear. So Narad Muni was actually testing his determination, how much he wants to go to Krishna, how much, no matter what, akama, sakama, or moksha kama, doesn't matter whether it was for becoming a pure devotee, or sakama, or want to fulfill a material desire, or moksha kama, or want to go to get some liberation, doesn't matter, but he was going to Krishna, right? So Narad Muni tested, and when he figured that this 5-year-old boy is determined, then Narad Muni gave him the mantra to chant. By chanting what, 6 months, he saw Vishnu. So like that, when we face some problem in any work, because everything is Krishna's thing, every single thing, then we can say that now what? Now how much I want to become Krishna conscious? Now what? The bigger thing is, do I want to go ahead or not? I have a friend, she was telling one realization once that she wanted to come to temple. The temple was about 1.5 hours away. So, and she didn't want to travel alone on Sunday evening, because by the time you get back home, it's late night. So she was asking her neighbor, asking her friend, can you please come with me to the temple? We can go together. So that particular day, she said, no one was saying yes. Generally, somebody will say yes, but that particular day, no one was saying yes. So she said, I took a pause, that this is becoming very overwhelming, that I want to go and no one is saying yes. So she said, suddenly she heard instruction. She had this realization. It really doesn't matter who's saying yes or no. What really matters is, do you still want to do it? Do you still want to go? And she went alone. So religion without philosophy is sentiment, or sometimes fanaticism, or philosophy without religion is mental speculation. So religion without philosophy is a sentiment. It's just a feeling. People make a show or don't make a show. Or sometimes fanaticism coming from the mind and not from the heart. And philosophy without religion is mental speculation. Like some people are writing so big novels and classical texts, but they are arising from their mind. It's a mental speculation. So Krishna does not want that. The whole process is to understand the real position of the self in relation to the super self. And the indirect process is philosophical speculation. The other process is indirect process is philosophical speculation, which I told you, neti. God is not like this. God does not have this. God cannot be this. That is philosophical speculation. But what he is, what is he? What is Krishna can only be revealed by working for Krishna. Krishna is giving his verdict. Path of Krishna consciousness is better because it does not depend on purifying the senses by philosophical process. So only 2 points I want to make in this verse. There are 2 classes of people who want to understand Krishna consciousness. Krishna is giving a verdict that devotees are better because they're working for me than the person who is philosophically speculating. I think I'm talking a lot, so I'll talk less from next verse. Sorry. Okay, we can read the 4th verse, please. Who would like to read? Rupa Mataji, you please read.
Na karmanam anarambham. Just a minute, Mataji. Naishkarmyam purushosnute nacha sanyasan nadeva siddhim samadhi gacchati. Not by merely abstaining from work can one achieve freedom from reaction, nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. Just a minute, Mataji. Purport. The renounced order of life can be accepted upon being purified by the discharge of the prescribed form of duties, which are laid down just to purify the heart of materialistic men. Without purification, one cannot attain success by abruptly adopting the fourth order of life, sannyasa. According to the empirical philosophers, simply by adopting sannyasa, retiring from fruitive activities, one at once becomes as good as Narayana. But Lord Krishna does not approve this principle. Without purification of heart, sannyasa is simply a disturbance to the social order. On the other hand, if someone takes to the transcendental service of the Lord, even without discharging his prescribed duties, whatever he may be able to advance in the cause is accepted by the Lord. Buddhi Yoga. Svalpam api yasya apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a slight performance of such a principle enables one to overcome great difficulties.
Thank you, Mataji. So Krishna is saying that don't think that not by working that you can avoid getting a karmic reaction, or just by renouncing you can attain perfection. It's not, doesn't work like that. I don't know. Take a new glass. So sannyasa is the highest order of the humankind. The sannyas order. You know, there's this brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. So brahmachari, one is brahmachari is until 25 years of age. Like if your human life is divided into 100, then first fourth is brahmacharya, where the little boy lives with guru. That's not happening now, but it is what is supposed to be happening. And the guru trains the person, the disciple, in the science of Krishna. And the guru, the brahmachari, the student lives with the guru. And guru also not teaches just by words, but also teaches them by example how to live. So the student can look at the teacher. So there is no duplicity in what the guru is saying and how the guru is living their life. Okay, so that is number one. Then if somebody wants to enter a grihastha life, then they can become a grihastha. If somebody doesn't want to be married, then they can remain a brahmachari. That's fine. And by doing the duties in grihastha, it's grihastha ashram. There are two words in Bhagavatam: grihastha ashram and griha medhi. Grihastha ashram is a house where one is living with a wife, children, family, but the focus is on Krishna. That particular place is ashram, because everybody is trying to enhance each other's Krishna consciousness. And the other house is Graha Medhi, where everybody is living together for sense gratification. How can we eat better? How can we sleep better? How can we defend better? All these things. No Krishna. So that is Graha Medhi. That's not Grihastha ashram. Don't think that marriage itself makes one a Grihastha ashram. No, activity of what's happening in that particular relation defines whether it's a Graha Medhi or Grihastha ashram. And then one must take Vanaprasth. Vanaprasth is from 50 years to 75 years, somewhere between that time, one is required to leave the home. They cannot just leave the home because there is so much attachment. So there is a stepwise process given in Srimad Bhagavatam that one can travel along with the wife to holy places, and then slowly live in a place away from the house, but the house people and the family can still provide the food, and slowly become disgusted with that also, develop detachment, and enter the final order of life, which is sannyas, where one is fully convinced of one's position as part and parcel of Krishna, and the real constitutional duty of the soul is to surrender to Krishna. Now, whatever I'm describing may not be practical for many people in Kali Yuga, even though that's the standard. And Krishna gives reassurance that I will take care if somebody follows this. Can you go wear your robe and wear some slippers? Sorry. So anybody who is living like Dhritarashtra, after Yudhishthira Maharaj was enthroned as a king, and his 100 sons died, Yudhishthira Maharaj used to come every morning to pay obeisances to Gandhari and Dhritarashtra before he would do his kingly duties. So Dhritarashtra had a brother, Vidura. So Vidura one day came to Dhritarashtra and criticized Dhritarashtra that, are you not tired? For how long are you going to go on living at the mercy of others? When are you going to realize that you are a part and parcel of Krishna, that that is round the corner? When are you going to do that? So Vidura was so firm in his conviction that he actually, the next day, Vidura, Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, they left the house without telling anyone. They just left because he became firm that I have lost my 100 sons. They all have died. Then what is the surety that I'm not going to die? You know, my 100 sons died, all of them. So why are you, well, he said, Vidura told, why are you still sitting in the kingdom and trying to enjoy this life? Why? What is there? So when are you going to get ready for your death? Now, if I go and talk about it to the Understand Gita 18 days class, people will run away because they said this is heavy philosophy. Krishna consciousness is like walking on the razor's edge. It is a heavy philosophy. It is because Krishna consciousness means I am going to Krishna. It is not that I am trying to become a very well-educated or scholarly person of this particular world. No, I have nothing to do with this world, is what it is. For my own sake. Okay, so it is a heavy philosophy. I think I can talk to all of you. I don't know how many of you are going to run away, but please don't run away. I'm not saying that we have to follow it from the order, because if we are not purified in the heart, then it will be a disturbance to the social order. Let's not become a disturbance. That is why we need devotees, we need a spiritual master, we need shastras to tell us, where am I? And how can I go to the next level? Where am I in my journey towards Krishna? It's not that we are trying to publicize ourselves that, oh, we have such a busy life, but we can still preach Krishna consciousness to you. So my life is superior to your life. No, no, no. There you go. Okay, there you go. That you are trying to glorify the subtle enjoyment. That's a detachment is also a kind of attachment. No. One has to be fully convinced that this is what I want to do. That person is honest. Not the person who is doing an activity but trying to show it to others that follow me, look at me. No, no, no. Krishna will make sure that person is not going to Krishna. That Krishna consciousness is a matter of the heart, and Krishna is sitting in the heart. So we should not try to lie to ourselves. It's the religion of Krishna consciousness, the cult of Krishna consciousness is for the person who is thoroughly honest. What is that verse in Srimad Bhagavatam? Thoroughly honest. There is a verse like that. What is that verse? Shanvanti gayanti grinanti sadhava tadvag visargo janataga viplavo yasmin pratishloka abhaddavat api namani anantasya yasho antikaniyas shanvanti gayanti grinanti sadhava. So one who is going to relish the words of Srimad Bhagavatam? Who? Shanvanti means singing. Hearing. Sorry, Shanvanti means hearing. Gayanti means singing or reciting. Grinanti means relishing. Sadhava. Who? Vyasdev is saying thoroughly honest person will be able to relish the words of Srimad Bhagavatam. Not anybody else who has something to do with this particular world. No. Okay, so that is Bhakti Yoga. Real Krishna consciousness begins when one becomes fully convinced that this is what I really want to do. It does not matter what is there in front of me. It does not matter what is my conditional life. I have to work or I have to maintain family. It does not matter. I only have 24 hours in my pocket. I am going to chant 16 rounds a day because Srila Prabhupada said it. With instruction of an Acharya comes empowerment. When Srila Prabhupada gives an instructions, and when somebody follows it, then there is an empowerment given by Srila Prabhupada. Yes, you will be able to do it. I was telling this Sadhu Sangha class yesterday. People don't chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. First of all, they don't chant because, and we know it, that because they think that there is something else than chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra which will work just the same. This is the number one conviction that I have come across. It's just going to work just the same if I chant something else. This is number one conviction. It's a conviction. There is no shastric evidence attached to it. It's just coming out from someone's mind. Okay, and number two, they don't chant Hare Krishna or because 16 rounds is a lot. I have no time. But we forget, time is servant of Krishna. Time is coming from Sudarshan Chakra of Krishna. Time personified. Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, read it, origin of time factor. So and everything is made to serve Krishna. When I make a determination that I am going to chant Hare Krishna, time becomes a subservient to your determination to chant. Okay, the time will help. We take time independent of Krishna. That is why we face these problems. The problem is not with Krishna or instruction. The problem is within me. I have a doubt. Okay, the path is very clear. It's very clear. There's no doubt. And anyone who has done it has gone back. But time, I don't have time, I don't have this. Then devotees will reveal. But the problem is how strong is your own determination. How much of Vyavasatmika Buddhi you have become, or I have become, or we have become. Okay? So that is what Krishna is saying here, that bhakti, even a slight performance of such a principle enables one to overcome great difficulty. And what is the greatest difficulty? That I will forget Krishna. I don't want a life where I'm going to forget Krishna. I don't want. That should be our prayer, that Krishna, even demigods pray to Krishna like this. I think in Damodar Leela, there is, if you read Bhagavatam, there is a verse where demigods are praying. Oh, Nala Kuvera and Manigriva, when they pray to Damodar, they say that we have all the material assets. We have everything. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, we have all kinds of material luxuries. But we don't have one thing. All these things are very, very distracting. Can you please give me the memory that I can remember you, Krishna? Can you please give me that memory, Krishna? I have these are sons of Kuvera, and Kuvera is the finance officer of the demigods. So Nala Kuvera and Manigriva are sons of Kuvera. So they are praying to Damodar or Krishna like this, that can you please give us the memory? So even the demigods struggle to remember Krishna, because there's so much outside, so much alluring, and so many alluring things. And they sometimes, as sincere demigods, also praise Krishna, I'm fed up. I'm really fed up. I am fed up with these allurements or outsourcing my happiness in this thing or that thing or that thing. I want to sincerely seek the happiness of the dust which is sticking to your lotus feet. That happiness I want. Okay. Okay, we can go to the next verse. Who would like to read? Yeah, Madhurani, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Fourth or fifth verse. Yeah. Nahi kashita kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karma krut karyate hyavashah karma sarvah prakriti jar gunehe. All men are forced to act helplessly according to the impulses born of the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. Purport. It is not a question of embodied life, but it is the nature of the soul to be always active. Without the presence of the spirit soul, the material body cannot move. The body is only a dead vehicle to be worked by the spirit soul, which is always active and cannot stop. Sorry, Mataji got muted. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
I think she got logged out, Madhurani Mataji. Let's wait for a few minutes.
Mataji cannot. Sorry, Mataji, I cannot see the screen.
No, Mataji has got logged out unexpectedly. She's joining back.
Okay, I thought it is from my side.
No.
It's good for him. The Srimad Bhagavatam affirms this. Yat katva swadharmam charanam bhujam hare bhajanna pakvotha pate tato yadi yatra kwa bhadram bhudamushyak kim ko vartha apto bhajatam swadharmatah. If someone takes to Krishna consciousness, even though he may not follow the prescribed duties in the Shastras, nor execute the devotional service properly, and even though he may fall down from the standard, there is no loss or evil for him. But if he carries out all the injunctions for purification in the Shastras, what does it avail him if he is not Krishna conscious? Bhagavad Gita 1.5.17. So the purificatory process is necessary for reaching this point of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, sannyasa or any purificatory process is to help reach the ultimate goal of becoming Krishna conscious, without which everything is considered a failure. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Mataji. So, if you see the summary of this verse, it's like if you have Krishna consciousness, you are able to achieve anything. So all men are forced to act helplessly according to the impulse born of the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. If you don't have Krishna's mercy, it means you can never do any other activity. So that is the extent we have we have to be with Krishna consciousness. Yeah, okay, Mataji has come in. Mataji, you can continue with Mataji. I'm sharing the screen.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I think you can continue, Prabhu, for this verse. I'm joining in the middle. I don't know what happened.
No. Just now, Madhurani Mataji finished, and we just started the explanation. So you can just.
Okay, so can you go up on the translation, please, Prabhu? All men, thank you. All men are forced to act helplessly according to the impulses born of the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. So again, remember when Srila Prabhupada was saying that Krishna consciousness is taken to be inertia. But here, Krishna is speaking himself that not even for a moment can someone be refrained from doing anything. Okay, why can't somebody refrain from doing anything? Because the soul is active. The nature of the soul is to be always active. That is the reason. The activity is actually generated from the soul. A dead body has no activity. When it comes out, it becomes conditioned by modes of nature. But really, the initiation of an activity in a living entity is from the soul. The breathing, the beating of the heart, the blinking, the vision power of the eyes, the smelling, the walking around, everything is actually initiated by the soul. But because when it comes out, it becomes conditioned. Like Prabhupada gives example of a rainwater. There is no confusion. I'm not trying to confuse you all with jugglery of words. So that sakshittam, avikaritam, shantitvam, iti chetasaha. Okay, this is very simple. 3rd canto, 26th chapter, 22nd verse. Srimad Bhagavatam explains the nature of the soul is sakshittam, means it's fixed. Avikaritam, shantiktam, iti chetasaha. Fixed, pure, and always peaceful. But what happens that as a rainwater, if somebody goes on the top of a mountain and captures the rainwater as it falls from the cloud. It is very pure. There is no contamination. But when the rainwater comes and falls on the ground or goes through the thick polluted cloud near the city, it becomes contaminated. Like that, the activity which is generated by the soul is very pure. But when it comes out in this material world and it gets in touch with modes of nature, passion, goodness, ignorance, then it becomes contaminated. So the Krishna consciousness is a way to get rid of a contamination. It's not a way to get rid of an activity. That's what it is saying. Okay, because soul is going to be engaged. We cannot stop. Prabhupada gives example of his son. He said his youngest son was very naughty. Was very naughty. Once his friend came to his house and he told Prabhupada's son, if you can stay still for 5 minutes, I will give you this prize. You will get this reward. So Srila Prabhupada writes that Srila Prabhupada says that my son was not even able to sit still for 5 minutes. So it's so active. We cannot artificially stop an activity. We have to dovetail the activity, and that is the key of devotional service. The dovetail the activity towards Krishna. So what is that activity? What is the constitutional activity of the soul? Yes, please tell me. What is the constitutional activity? Yes.
To reach Krishna, Mataji. To reach Goloka.
That is the aim. Yes, that's the aim. But what's the activity attached to it?
Work around Krishna.
Happiness.
Happiness is a byproduct of working for Krishna. Yes, that's a very nice
Devotional
thing.
service. Devotional service to Krishna.
Very nice. Yes, that's also correct. So someone give me example of devotional service. Does devotional service mean that I have to sit in my chair and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra 24 hours a day and do not work at all? Or what does devotional service mean?
The result of our work has to be offered as a sacrifice to Krishna. Any work.
Give me example of the work.
I have been listening to your classes for Bhagavad Gita, Mataji. You have been saying that if in case the work is not pertaining to temple and stuff like that, we can at least think of Krishna every moment and thank the Lord for giving the memory to do the work.
Yes, that is also one level of devotion. Yes, very nice. That's a correct understanding, Mataji. So very nice. So what she's saying is her understanding is that the result of the work has to be given to Krishna, and that is a devotional service. Yes, that is one level of devotional service. Anybody else? Go more deep? Can you go more deep?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Radhika here, ma'am. So basically everything you do, you start with him, you process it through him, and you end with him. For example, food we eat is basic, which we do every day, but you start by giving it as prasad and you take it. So I think this is one general example. If you ask my personal example, I feel that, which I never used to do earlier, food I used to offer to Krishna, but what I'm doing today is I think whatever activity I do, I'm able to relate to Krishna. For example, New Year party, I know you'll say you should not party, but I still partied with my entire family, and party does not mean drinks for us. It means all of us get together. The first thing I was trying to do is to convince everyone out of 10 of us who were there to attend the class, so that, it's easier, because I can't convince them because I don't know whether they fall under the devotee or the non-devotee category. So out of 10, leaving me and my daughter, 8, 7 of them have joined the 18-day course.
Whoa!
Different
My
language.
God.
So thank you, ma'am. So I think you start relating every activity to how you can connect to Krishna. Like I last time mentioned, like a friend of mine who wanted the toughest book of French, I gave Bhagavad Gita in French. So it's not that I wanted her to read Bhagavad Gita, but I think the words in English, 80% I don't understand. I'm sure 80% of the French words she won't understand too. But in the process, she'll understand Bhagavad Gita. So indirectly, I think we channelize every activity directly or indirectly to Krishna consciousness. This is my understanding of how we can actually spread.
Very nice.
Thank you.
I will be very curious to find out, why do you feel that I will judge you if you are going for a party?
Not
That's
that
very
we-
curious.
I think the word party is related to drinks, but actually for us, party means any get together, which we have used as a thing where everyone right from 2 year till 8 year do together. But I think the English word party normally relates to pubbing, right? So it's not you will judge me. I think the word means that, but we use it like any get together. Like Diwali puja also will tell, let's have a party, but we'll be doing puja and then of course we will eat lunch together. So we relate party to any get together because I think kids love that name. So we started using the name party for conventionally everything. But the process has been every Sunday when we all meet, it's like right from 2 year to 80 year, that 1 hour. That's why I couldn't come for your meeting when it was scheduled on Sunday. The entire family meets, and including the dogs and the cats in the house are a part of the Zoom. And we call it as get together. But these words are conventionally not used, right? So that's what I meant.
Okay, got it. So
Thank you,
you're okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, so she gave an example of practical application. Very nice. So that is another example that how you're benefited now. How can you bring someone else without hesitation? It's hard to tell people about Krishna consciousness. It's hard. It's very, it can be very, very hard. Someone might be trying to hide their practice of Krishna consciousness, and that's okay. It's very situation dependent. That's okay. But if someone is able to tell and they get benefited, then that person is becomes dear to Krishna. So Radhika is now dear to Krishna, or we are all dear to Krishna, each one of us. Okay, so the basic verdict of this verse is the soul is active. It's not that the activity has to be stopped. It's the activity has to be purified for Krishna's sake. And the soul's real activity is to surrender to Krishna. So it's almost time. Do you think we can do one more verse or no?
Madhurani Mataji has some question.
Yes, Madhurani.
Mataji, like rather than preaching, isn't it is better to do your devotional service at your own? Because rather than listening criticism and other things, it's better to do it to yourself.
Yeah, if that works for you, that's fine. See, there are so many different type of people, right? There's so many different type of psychological makeup. So one thing is not going to work for everyone. If that works for one person, and that's fine. I have a very good friend. She and her family, they both, husband, wife, both are initiated. So they both, whenever I meet them, they both keep telling, you got to stop preaching because you're putting too much time. You got to give time to children. You got to see, we are also preaching. He's the director of a company. So he says, see, we are also, and it's all good, well-meaning people in my life. We are also trying to preach, but we preach by our example, that how we conduct ourselves in day-to-day life, being aware of the Shastric knowledge. And then if somebody becomes interested, they come to us and they ask that, what are you doing? And then we tell them slowly. And this devotee, her husband is not ordinary, okay? He started Krishna consciousness preaching in MIT, Boston, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Boston, 10 years ago, alone. He started. So he's not an ordinary devotee. He keeps telling me, Prem Kishori, you need to stop talking. You need to stop preaching. You need to spend time with your children. You have small children. But the problem is I can't stop. So he is very well-meaning. His wife is my best friend, so she is very well-meaning. Madhurani, the point I'm trying to tell you is that yes, if it works for you to become to cultivate your own Krishna consciousness in the best possible way, fine. This is great, but it may not work for somebody else. Okay.
Yes, Mataji. Got it.
So okay, so this is a very senior devotee telling it to me, and I'm still saying, I'm so sorry, I can't do it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Okay, so maybe next week we'll start from verse number 6 and try to finish 9 and a couple of other verses. Anybody has any questions? Prabhu, you can stop sharing the screen.
Ma'am, I have lots of questions, so I'll take it at the last, so let others finish, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Anyone has any questions from today's class? So please go back and please try to understand why is Arjuna asking this question to Krishna, that what should I do? Should I fight or should I renounce? Tadekam vada. Why is Arjuna asking this question? And then in that, what is the practical application of that thing in my own life? Are there circumstances now become aware now for that, at least for the next 1 week, contemplate that am I not why am I not trying to work for Krishna? Because am I still thinking that renouncing the work is better, or am I using am I procrastinating my work like Arjuna is procrastinating his fight by giving this reason or that reason? Oh, taking care of the house, cleaning the house is not a part of Bhagavad Gita. Oh, buying grocery for the house is not a part of my soul has no need. I'm going to renounce. I will just drink water, make some juice, something like that. So see where is your renunciation or where is your devotional work. Okay. If anyone has to leave, please feel free to leave. I know you have work. Next week we'll be able to spend some more time. Oh, can we meet Sunday next week also? Will that work, please, for everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Morning.
Morning, Sunday morning. Thank you. Okay, if no one has any question, I guess Radhika, you can go ahead with your question. Okay, Madhurani has a question. Go ahead, Madhurani.
Mataji, doing 16 round, I did only once, but when I think of doing it on normal days, I feel like I'm forcing myself to do 16